Welcome back to the Money Pig Podcast, brought to you by Goodwin Investment Advisory, where our mission is to lead people to financial peace, independence, and generosity. I'm your host, Reid Trego, and today on the show, we're joined by GIA financial advisor Ray Brown for a discussion about Ray Brown.
Oh.
Welcome, Ray.
Hey, thanks for having me back on, Reid.
It's always great to have you here. I appreciate it. And we want to do a couple episodes to help people get to know you. Aside from just the topics that we talk about quite frequently on this show, we want to introduce you and let people actually get kind of behind the curtain a little bit. What's happening with Ray?
More than just the money. Let's do it. What else is there?
More than just, I don't know. We'll find out. So let's see. Tell us this. How did you connect with GIA to begin with, and how long was it? It wasn't that long ago.
I have been here at the firm now a year and a quarter. So it's been about, June of last year. So here we are. So
We're in September of 2023.
Gosh, time is flying. It's crazy. Yeah. So the past year and 3 months have flown by, and all's going really, really well. So happy to be here.
You're an awesome fit here.
Oh, that is so sweet of you to say. I appreciate it.
Oh, well, I try.
It's great to be here.
Well, good. How did you connect with GIA to begin with, really?
Yeah.
Don't go too far back in the before GIA story, but kind of.
I mean, I kind of came in and it was 2016, 2017. I forget the exact year, but I was in Atlanta for work, actually. It was a project I was working on in Atlanta, and I had just paid off my student loan debt, was in a good career, earning a good income. I was like, I need to start putting this to work. And of course, as a big finance nerd, I had done my own research. I knew kind of the investments that I wanted to get into and exactly kind of my path and what I needed to be saving. Obviously, I was in my mid-20s at the time. And so kind of reached out to local financial advisors in the area. So I had filled out a form online, connected with a few different places. And GIA was the one that I was like, man, these guys are a little bit different. Everyone else was kind of hounding me. I was getting all these phone calls. It's like, you want to talk about your portfolio? I was like, I'm at work. Like, this is all too much. And so Tim and the gang here was the ones that were like, wow, these guys have a little bit of a different approach. I did meet with one of the advisors here on the team as kind of a consulting client of, hey, I'm a big finance guy. I get this stuff. I love this stuff. But I'm also a young, fresh into the career industry, fresh to, I think I know what I'm doing, but I just wanted a little validation. And so I met with an advisor here on the team and got exactly what I needed, got my reassurances, and kind of stayed in touch ever since. So kind of watching from a distance, if you will. I was still working in a different career at the time, but over time I was like, man, these guys, this looks like a good time over here. And so kind of weaseled my way in over time.
Wow. So you were an amateur nerd before you became a full-fledged professional.
Before I knew I wanted to be a financial advisor, I knew I wanted to be a financial advisor. And so I was watching from a distance and just really got to know the guys through social media, through all the articles and the content. And it's like kind of, well, it's weird being here now. Like I feel like I've been here a lot longer than I have, just kind of like watching from the outside. And so, it's pretty cool.
And that's not to suggest that all financial advisors are nerds, but there is a feature among us that the fact that we like to talk about money and returns and yields and all that kind of, there's something.
And I don't want to name drop the person that I met with on the team, but that was kind of their reaction as well. It's like, why have you hired us to do, you've done it all. You just want our stamp of approval. Like, okay, great. It's like, yep, thank you so much. I'm out. Like, I'm good. I got it. I just wanted to make sure though. And so kind of gave me that confidence of like, okay, I do have a natural, like, that's not the everyday client that we meet with here. Obviously, they're like, we don't know we don't know about this. You come in and you guide us. Whereas me was kind of driving the reins there. So.
Yeah, that's amazing. So what did you do before GIA?
So prior to joining the team here, I worked in the film industry. So 10 years exactly, actually truly on the dot, like 10 years in the film and television industry. So I worked for, pretty much every major film studio that's out there, feature films and television shows. I've lived all over the place from New Orleans to, work ultimately brought me to Atlanta. But prior to that, I've lived in San Diego. I've lived in Tijuana, Mexico, New Orleans for 5 years, Orlando, Florida. Truly just kind of all over the place. Napa, California. And so work and projects kind of took me all over, and all the big studios and Netflix, Sony, Fox, all the good ones, and kept me busy. So it was a good solid run of 10 years. And was a production coordinator. So doing all the fun, logistical, behind the scenes type stuff that maybe what the average Joe would say, like, oh, that's what a producer would do, is probably, kind of what I was handling.
Got it.
A lot of moving pieces.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. So your name rolled across the screen somewhere in there.
In a theater, yes. We saw the roll. It goes quick. You got to kind of pause it or else you're going to miss it. Yeah.
Especially on Netflix. You finish one of those movies and they like,
oh, yeah. Hurry, mom, pause it. You got to get it quick. It's just funny. Yeah. Taking your parents to the theater and they, hurry, look, and you're pointing at your name, but it's going too quick. No one else can see it. And so,
that's hilarious. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that role, as I understood it, a lot of hours. I mean, you're in production.
Oh, yeah.
Filming big days.
Yeah. 60 hours a week at minimum, at least 5 days a week, usually 6 days a week, and it's long hours on set. And there's a reason for it. The movie industry is very fast paced. And there's, the reason is because, hey, time is money. We've got equipment that's on rent. We've got crew members from all over the country that are staying in hotels, and we've got rental cars for those people. And we have, camera packages and gear and locations that are on rent. And so it's like, we can't do an 8-hour day and let all this stuff just sit here. We've got to get this thing done. And so it is very much a, come on, let's go kind of, we got stuff to do mentality. And so, very fast paced.
Amazing. Okay. So you mentioned a minute ago a little bit about this, but I want to ask you why you became a financial advisor. But you already mentioned that you were kind of already kind of interested in this and digging into your own finances, but maybe now a year or a little more into this career, maybe you have a little bit different answer to why did you become a financial advisor?
Yeah, I think just over a year that I've been here on this team, during that time I've gone through the CFP process, which just really made me fall in love even more with the process of financial planning. Taking that test, which was just it's a beast of an exam. It's the gold standard for our industry, the certified financial planner. Really got to dive into a lot of the training and just different areas of finance. There really is so much to all of this it's more than just, like you said, Reid, more than the yields and the numbers. It's like there's so much psychology behind financial planning and dealing with different behaviors and emotions around certain things and personal goals that clients may have. And I just love drilling into all that content. So being here for this while, it's given me that reassurance of like, okay, I know I'm in the right spot, doing the right job, in the right place. Why did I get into it? It was going back to the college days. So I graduated, bachelor's degree. I did my bachelor's degree in 2 years. So this is what's got me ready for that film industry start of talk about like quick pacing, like let's go, double time, come on, let's get out, let's enter the real world, quote, real world. And so I remember graduating college and was actually driving my little Jeep across the country, pulling a U-Haul trailer with all my stuff in it, was moving to New Orleans from Orlando at the time. And to start my life, to start the career. I had the first job there in the film business. So pulling the stuff all behind me, it was rainy night, cardboard boxes in the back of the truck, all wet and just, oh gosh, you can smell that cardboard. Stopping for gas in the middle of the night. I'm like, it's deserted. I'm there at the gas pump, middle of the night. The tumbleweeds literally just like blowing by on the side of the road. Like, where is it? Why is it so dead out here?
It's like a scene from a movie.
Yeah, I'm about to get got, And so I'm sitting there and getting the gas. And I pull out my phone, check my email, and I see an email from the student loan company. And it was like a congratulations. There was confetti in the background, a little animated thing up at the top. And as you scroll down, it was like, you can't help but notice, it's a harmless email, but here's your student loan balance, and here's when your first payment's going to be due. And they've just kind of peppered in the congratulations, up at the top. And so that was the moment that hit me of like, oh, wow, interesting. And prior to that, you don't pay much attention to those kinds of things. You're signing up for a student loan. It's what you think is the only way you get yourself into this hole. And for me, it was just a little bit kind of paralyzing. Just, oh, wow, the stuff just got real. And so from that moment forward, I was just kind of like, it hit you. I realized to myself that I've gotten myself in a situation. I'm going to have to get myself out of this. I'm going to have to be a little bit weird and figure out a way to make this work. At that time, I was a starving artist, fresh out, no resume, here we go. And so just really had to buckle down and learn this stuff the hard way and drill into, I need to know good financial principles. I need to figure out this whole like debt snowball thing. I need to learn how to save for my future, feeling overwhelmed by needing to do all of these things. And I should have this kind of car. I should be the should-bes, I should be getting a house soon, or one day I'm going to want to be married, and it's just overwhelming. And so, yeah.
Where'd you go to start learning those financial habits?
I think the very first place that I started was pulling out a book that my uncle had given me when I graduated high school. Of course, I was way too busy to read it, as most kids would say that they were. So it sat on the shelf for a little while, but it was Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover.
Really?
For those that have listened to the podcast before or know a little about me, you probably have heard me mention Dave Ramsey quite a bit. And he was pretty much a big inspiration, I think, for my interest in finance. He broke it down and made it simple and easy and made it make sense, pointing out those flaws that we all have as humans. It's a lot like working out in the gym. Like, we all know what to do, but why are we still eating the Snickers bar? It's like classic, like, I know this is not good for me. Why am I spending this much on whatever I'm doing, or avoiding paying off student loans, or not putting the full amount that I know I should be putting into my 401k. We all do what feels good as humans. And so kind of just getting called out on that kind of started me down that path of like wanting to genuinely know more about the psychology and about the science and the art of financial planning.
That's amazing. Good. What about your hobbies? What do you do for fun?
Oh boy. What is fun? I'm just kidding. Well, I live in Atlanta, so we love, the active community there. We love to eat out, restaurant people. I know that sounds ridiculous, but we love checking out new places, and there's a lot of scenery, a lot to keep us busy. We just stay pretty active and social around, the Beltline in Atlanta, parks, love to be outside. Like to, stay consistent with gym routines, big fitness guy, making progress and things there. A big fan of just kind of setting those personal goals and, like to travel, like to just have fun.
Recently married.
So we've been married all of 30 minutes. So we've got it all figured out. We tell people.
Yeah, that's funny. But it takes getting used to that. And we did an episode about combining finances and managing each other's, not managing, but coordinating each other's behaviors. Right. Getting married is hard on its own. And, and then you're driving to work and you're separate, and
it's a huge task. Like, and Lindsay, my wife, is going through that now today. She's getting her driver's license with her new name on it. And it's been a very detailed process. Yeah. I'm sure you can relate, Reid. It's like, there's a big checklist, and it's like, wow, I didn't realize there was going to be this many boxes to check in order to get this done. And so, here we are.
I can almost relate, but it was a long time
There we go. I'm sure the process has probably it's probably made it harder, honestly, since then. Yeah.
I know. All right. So I feel like each of our advisors here kind of has a sweet spot or a unique skill they bring to client relationships. What do you think yours is?
For me, I would say is truly just getting to know the folks that I'm working with. That personal connection as a financial advisor should do. It's like truly getting to know the person and just injecting a little bit of fun into all this. I think I kind of mentioned this earlier when we were doing our prep for the episode about, talking about like youthful energy. I'm, early 30s. I like to just have fun with this. And it doesn't have to be a boring topic. We're not wearing a suit and tie. We're not going to talk down to you. It's like truly just like, let's cut up a little bit. Let's drill into you as a person and your hobbies and your life and your goals and put it all out there and just have a good time with it. And so I think that energy, and I would hope that others find that refreshing. And I certainly think that they do. Yeah. Truly getting to know you.
Yeah. And I think when you work with a couple, a lot of times, a very typical, this is nothing wrong with it or right or whatever, but it's very common that one spouse is very serious, kind of financially oriented, and the other one is kind of like, I don't know, I'm agnostic almost. And so figuring out how to maybe make it more fun to get them both involved, that's what has to really happen, I think, sometimes.
Absolutely.
And I can speak as the agnostic in my relationship at one point before I was also an advisor.
There you go. Yep.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. Who's generally a good client for you that you like to work with?
I'm going to say anyone that is ready and willing and wants to hone in on their current situation and better it.
Yeah. Because you kind of did that for yourself early.
Yeah, it's a classic, like taking charge, So anyone that's willing to just say like, hey, I'm going to be a little bit proactive and not reactive. Maybe you're facing retirement in the near future, a little nervous about it, uneasy, not sure what that's going to look like. The best time to jump into it is always yesterday. But like, let's go ahead and do it now.
The second best time is today.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. Like, let's not wait. Otherwise, you wait 5 years, and it's just that classic, like, we don't want to live with that kind of regret. And so I'd say anyone that's willing, or I shouldn't say willing, but anyone that is just ready to take that leap and jump in on their situation, find out where they're at, and to set some goals for the future so we can get to where we want to go. The Henrys, those high income earners that, they're not yet rich. Henry is high earner, not yet rich. It's a little acronym that we use in the business.
There's also rich yet.
Not rich.
R-Y.
Not rich yet.
It's okay. He's great at math.
There's, what's the other one? The DINKs, the dual income, no kids. Of course, we love kids. That's not probably, you don't have to not have kids to be a great fit for me, but it's more of that, the folks that are maybe bringing in a great income, but just don't necessarily have the focus on the finances. Like, you have other skills. And so you do what you do best. We can help do what we do best, and let's get you going. So allow us to kind of work alongside your efforts and get you moving in the right direction.
Yeah. And I worked with plenty of people who they're sitting there going, I don't know, we make a fair amount of money. We don't really have to worry about turning up the heat or turning down the air conditioning or whatever. But I feel like that money sort of evaporates when they don't have a good plan for it. So I think that's a good client for you, is to help them get that organized too.
At the end of the day, financial planner, it's all about the plan. And so we love talking about, as cliche as that sounds, like, let's make a plan. What is the plan? And far too many people don't necessarily know.
Yeah. And I think for you, mid-career, career changers, you can relate to that so well.
I love the topic of career change and just doing, and I think this is another area where I really could have as a, new advisor here on the team at Goodwin is, having those kinds of conversations about work in general. So many people that are dreading, like, oh gosh, I don't know what I'm going to do in retirement. We see two sides. We see folks that are ready to, throw in the towel and can I retire tomorrow? And it's like, you're 45 years old. Like, what is the there's something more to discuss here, more to uncover. Yeah. Others are, hey, I'm, 65. Should I retire? I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. And so it's like, keep working.
And do they kind of like their job. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's meet in the middle. Like, let's reduce capacity. Let's find some enjoyable, but work doesn't have to be awful. Let's make it be fun, and let's figure out a way to make that happen. And figuring out the finances behind it is an important part of that process. So.
Yeah. You might've just walked into this a little bit too, but so far, what's your favorite thing about being a wealth advisor?
Ooh, well, yeah, I would say what I just said there, as well as just, for me, I think it's truly like watching people's eyes kind of light up at the numbers, seeing that confidence of like, so you're telling me I'm going to be okay. It's like, yes, that's exactly what we're getting. I'm not telling you that. I'm not allowing the numbers to show you that, but I think just illustrating things for people, putting it into perspective, just seeing, that people have that opportunity that they want. Those transformations, I think, is for me what keeps me going and what makes me excited. You see, there's a little bit of each day, plenty of tough conversations that we have, but at the end of the day, it's still very rewarding, because even if there's an unfortunate situation or something that we're helping a client through, it's all for good reason. And we know that the better days are always ahead of us, no matter where we're at. And so just kind of helping that come to light is, that's why we're here. I feel like that's my God-given purpose and what's driving us forward. So
yeah, that's good. Yeah. Having those hard conversations, happy conversations, but in either case, a lot of times they're very raw.
Yeah.
With emotion. It's just why I go back to psychology of money.
It's very true. It all ties into the psychology, the human behavior, and the head knowledge versus, the actual, the behavioral side of everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And as financial advisors, we manage and rebalance portfolios, but the unique value is that we work to understand our clients' individual needs and goals so we can have those kinds of planning conversations that are so personal and unique to each individual. So, Ray, thanks so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me, Reid.
To talk about you.
I love it.
Everybody get to know you. Hey, and thanks for listening. If you have a question for us, email us at moneypig@goodwininvestment.com. And wherever you listen to this podcast, please leave a rating, review, comment, stars, 5 stars. 5 stars is what we want. And we appreciate you listening. So we will catch you all next time. Now, here's Angela.
The Money Pig podcast is hosted by Reid Trego, a financial advisor at Goodwin Investment Advisory. This podcast is intended to share information and perspectives, but should not be interpreted as legal, financial, or tax advice. The opinions shared by participants are not necessarily endorsed by the company. Goodwin Investment Advisory is regulated by the SEC, and the company operates in compliance with applicable securities laws and regulations.